In this video, I've managed to get my hands on a Toyota WiLL. Yeah, this whatever that is looking like an ideal backdrop for this Toyota WiLL. WiLL, but I think the I is in little. You see, it's not technically a Toyota, it is just a WiLL. And WiLL was a brand created in Japan by a conglomerate, several different companies. It wasn't just cars. Toyota handled the car side of things, but it was actually a full range. You could get all sorts. You could get WiLL air fresheners, WiLL fax machines, all manner of items available with the WiLL branding. It was meant to be appealing to the young folk and get them more interested in fax machines, air fresheners and cars. And that's why the styling of this car is completely insane. It's absolutely hat stand. When you look at the rake back rear window, I mean, it's hard even to see what the inspiration was. You could say Citroen Ami, sorry, fly on me, perhaps, or you know, Ford Anglia, but none of them had a back end quite like that. None of them had these scallops down the edges, these strange wheel arch extensions. I will point out this one has been lightly modified by the previous owner, who began pinstriping it and gave up, and put the big stripes where the scallops are on the bonnet and boot. But otherwise, that's how they came. And not a great success story either. I think only 4,000 were built, which you could compare with 20,000 Nissan Figaros, for example. And the Figaro was probably an inspiration for this car, because, well, and the other Pike factory Nissans, the B1, the POW, the S-Cargo van, all slightly odd vehicles built on a very conventional platform. And the conventional platform under this car is the Toyota Yaris. The WiLL VI, which is what this is, or maybe it's the WiLL 6, who knows, was only in production from 2000 until 2001. Like I say, only 4,000 built, so they're pretty rare. Although I have seen a few of them over here in New Zealand. But yeah, it's insane styling. And when you get next to one, they actually look quite large. And I've seen this one parked next to a BMW Z3, because in fact I filmed the Z3 to start with in this very car park up there before they put any cones in. And the reason for that, and this is a warning for all of you out there, is that Nigel, who I stayed with here in Whangarei, and who insisted I drive his BMW Z3, he may have got more than he bargained for, because after a couple of days with me, he went out and bought this. So yeah, be warned. Extended exposure to me can lead to very bad lifestyle decisions, but nonetheless, it's a very interesting car, and I'm glad he's bought it. And it will be adorned with a HubNut sticker in all good time, don't you worry. But we should probably start poking about inside, really, where things get even more interesting and oh so very brown. You see, this car was an absolute designer's joy. We've got little net pockets down here. We've got big chunky knobs to control the seat back angle, an extra pocket there. It's all a bit grubby. This one has done a certain amount of mileage. I've forgotten how many kilometers. 217,000 kilometers. So it's not exactly first flush of youth, but distinctive styling there. On the steering wheel pad, I don't know what that noise is. I think it's the CD auto changer, which sadly doesn't work. He has a mini disc item to fit, which is good. So yeah, we've got storage there, we've got cup holders there. I don't know if the cup holder adjusts. No, it doesn't seem to, it just pops out. Obviously the indicators are on the right hand. And big chunky flat seats remind me a lot of the Honda SMX. It's like sitting on a sofa, to be honest. I'm surprised there isn't an armrest. But yeah, very, 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 very brown. And that's all good. If we jump in the back, oh, just point out the these are factory original wind deflectors. They've got the branding, barely visible there. That's not really helping matters, is it? But yeah, the Japanese do like a wind deflector. I even like the way the doors open and how it's like almost the entire side of the car. Let's jump into the back and flip cameras. Oh, the news isn't too good back here. My head is on the roof, despite what looks like a really high roof, and this seat is so close as to be almost invading my personal space. I'm having to splay my knees alert either side of it, really. I can't easily and comfortably sit there. So this is all very cramped. I wasn't really expecting it to be quite so cramped, and of course the rear window is right there, right behind my head as well. So in terms of people carrying, this car is a disappointment. Oh look, we'll be together. WiLL VI. That's all well and good, but I'm getting out of there. I'm claustrophobic. Let's shut that door properly. There we go. I can also show you the key. The key also has "We'll be together" written upon it. It's an entire language, it seems. Let's have a poke about in the boot if we can. We'll need the key for that. Oh, that's quite cavernous. That's a bit bigger than I was expecting, actually. But I don't think the rear seat folds down, or maybe it does. It's hard to tell from this angle. There's a very nice hat in here. Don't know if the hat was included. Spare wheel down there. Yep, little space saver. Probably the original. Some random tools and stuff as well. Very nice. No, I don't think that seat's going to fold. I can't see any mechanisms for it. And for what it's worth, there's the 1.3 litre engine straight from a Yaris. I don't know how much of the structure is Yaris and how much is just kind of bolt on top. It's interesting to ponder. But there it is. Yeah, it's an engine. It produces this amount of horsepower, which means I don't know yet. Oh, Toyota signature class. Before we begin, there's the important business of the wiper test. Well, the washer jets need adjusting, but needs new wiper blades as well by the look of it. So it's up for a mist function. That's good, but we've got good overlap. Typical Toyota. Toyota don't do things by halves. So we have got some dribbling, which is purely down to the badly adjusted jets. But overall, I'm going to say that's a pleasing wiper performance. Perhaps leaves a bit too much unswept on the passenger side. But yeah, there you go. Right, I'm going to open that vent because I want the air conditioning to cool me down. Well, I'm afraid you're getting a bit of a knees alert even on that view, just because of how open everything is in this car. I'll turn the air conditioning down a little, but I really do need that to work. So we'll go through the controls. Most of it is here: lights and wipers, heated rear window, hazard lights, a nice proper click, that's good. We've got air conditioning, which is definitely on, and CD player, and that's kind of it. There are no toys. We've got electric windows, which are noisy but effective. I did assume we got electric mirrors, but I can't see any controls for that, so maybe we haven't. Does feel like we've got a height adjuster on there. We've got a foot operated handbrake, which is just press on and press off, so not very secure really, I don't think. And yeah, the gear lever is this ball on a stick with overdrive at the end. I don't fully understand the automatic overdrive principle, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but it behaves much like an overdrive on a conventional car, but it's all built into the unit. It isn't a bolt-on extra as it would be. So without further ado, handbrake's already off. We shall click down to D, which I can see on the little thing there. We've got the overdrive off at the moment. It puts a little warning on the dash to tell you when the overdrive is off. Take it nice and steady over the bumpety bumps, and then we get to the position we found ourselves in with a BMW Z3, at which point we were going to see how powerful it was. Oh no, it doesn't feel. I'm not confident enough in the cornering to go that quickly. I'm going to knock the overdrive off now. Oh, sorry, knock the overdrive on. More to the point. Yeah, I mean, it accelerated fairly briskly, but it was downhill, and I ran out of road before hitting 70 kilometers an hour, which is the speed limit. But yeah, it all feels a bit ponderous in the bends. It doesn't feel like cornering is its strongest suit, but I would say it was a good deal better than my Honda SMX, which is oh, and you've fallen off again. This mount really isn't working, is it? So exactly what we had happen with a BMW, and because I'm professional, I'm just going to keep recording until I can find somewhere to pull over, and we'll sort this problem out. I really do need a better solution to this camera mount nonsense. So we should try again. I'm hoping you're more secure in there this time. That's quite amusing. We had exactly the same failure in exactly the same place. Must just be something about that bit of road. So I think overall we can conclude that it does not sound as good as a BMW Z3, and nor does it accelerate like one. But I quite like the driving position. You sit nice and high up. You got this sofa vibe. It feels like sitting on a chair at home, and a car normally doesn't feel like that. Yeah, I love the brownness. I mean, who could not love that amount of brown? Absolutely magnificent. We've got all this wonderful Japanese writing, which I can't read in the slightest. We've got the wonderful views of Whangarei in the distance there. Actually, Whangarei is more this way. That's the bay coming out of Whangarei. And we shall slow down to 50. Nice big clear speedometer. That's good to see. Good visibility through the big windows. The mirrors on, brilliant. They're showing me a bit more of the car than I would really like. I thought we'll go and drive this car around town rather than out on the high roads, because frankly this ain't built for the high roads. This is built for pottering around town, so we'll see how it does. Certified concrete. Yeah, I only use the certified stuff. But of course the driving experience is nowhere near as wacky as the exterior and indeed the interior styling, because it's thoroughly conventional under the skin. So those who are expecting it to be somehow crazy might be disappointed. Much the same, I must say, as a Nissan Figaro. I really should do a video on a Figaro. The problem is I find them so disappointing to drive, I'm scared I'd upset the owner. This feels better because it's a 1.3 litre engine, so it's fairly punchy, whereas the Figaro uses a 1 litre turbo, bizarrely. Also allied to an automatic gearbox, but perhaps the slowest one I've ever encountered. Right, let's stop playing in the hills. It's going to have a mooch about town. So nice and quiet on idle, I can barely hear it running. Proper traditional automatic gearbox, you can hear it whining away. I like that very much. There's no rev counter. That seems a little bit of an oversight. I know it's an automatic, so you don't need one, but I'm just interested. I'd like to know what the engine's revving at. I would like to see what the difference is when I take the overdrive out. But I can't really hear the engine, I can't really feel the engine, so it's kind of very hard to tell. I've driven some Japanese automatics with overdrive where it seems to work at least on third and fourth, if not all gears, whereas I think this is more of a traditional just on top. But this is all guesswork because there isn't a rev counter, I can't really tell. But certainly around town, the steering's nice and light. The ride seems pretty good, I'm going to say. And the automatic gearbox makes it an absolute doddle. There we go, into Whangarei Central, where we must give way. Interesting fun fact, though, Belisha beacons here don't illuminate, they're just orange balls on a stick. Oh, Daihatsu Mira, or Whangarei in some markets. Yeah, for bombing around town, this feels ideal. I mean, the ride's a little unrefined, but it's not uncomfortable as we follow a Nissan Skyline. Definitely not a GTR. That's where the Skyline name branched back away from the sports cars and GTR became a mark in its own right, bizarrely. Yeah, I can't even tell you what gear it's in. Oh, there is a Stagio with a Skyline nose on it. So, I shouldn't have come to town, should I? I'm just too distracted. A Honda Orphea. Never even heard of one. There is, I think, a Toyota Passo, which is a badge engineered Daihatsu Syria. Yeah, I'm being far too distracted. I shouldn't have come to town. I'm forgetting what I'm actually doing. Is a road test, yes. But yeah, overall, I like it. See, it's just an orange circle on a stick. It gets a bit of attention, people looking at this oddball thing, but then I think people are rather used to oddball Japanese domestic market stuff about the place. Less used to huge slabs of Americana like that. What's that, Pontiac? Oh no, Ford Limited. Okay. Honda Cube there's one of those Toyota bus camper things over there. Yeah, this is my problem driving around. There's a Primera P10 driving around in New Zealand. It's just me doing that constantly, pretty much. It's not helped. I've been up in the far north where there isn't much of anything, so this level of traffic is all a bit new. We'll go around a roundabout. Be careful not to get squished by anyone. Is a truck coming this way as well? He is. All the trucks seem to have those guards. I don't know what they're to protect against. Stone chips, maybe? Oh, was this the wrong way to come? I'm thinking of it. Yes, it just might have been. Now I can make that gap. The Holden Cruise. Cruise is past. It's a good turning circle. Oh, and look at that 4-axle Mack cement mixer. Oh, best road test ever. I think I am going to go and take it to some faster roads though, because we've proved it can handle urban driving with aplomb. Although having said that, I haven't tried parking it, and I absolutely no idea where either bumper is. They both scallop away from the driver, so I'm not even sure how you're meant to know. Acceleration. And that's 100, which is the speed limit. Woo, slow down. Mazda MPV in front of us. So generally you can amble about, but you never for a second feel like this is a powerful car. It's a 1.3, but when you actually extend it, it actually picks up well enough. The VVTi engine, I think, has variable valve timing, so the higher the revs, the more grunt. I mean, generally that's the case, but the valve timing is particularly well suited to higher power at higher revs. It's no VTEC EO, but it feels energetic, shall we say, if a little frenetic. But generally, travelling at the same speed as the traffic is fine. There's a bit too much tyre noise, really, which is also something I found in my Toyota Starlet. Starlet being the forerunner of the Yaris. So maybe that's just a small Toyota thing. I mean, it is... They kind of do the surface dressing as their standard road top here in New Zealand, which doesn't help. That is a noisy road surface, but nonetheless this car is picking it up pretty badly. But overall, this is very likeable. It may not be astounding, but for something a bit different, I think these make a lot of sense. And can be affordable as well. I believe this one was 2,000 New Zealand dollars, which is about £1,000. And £1,000 doesn't buy you very much by way of interesting when it comes to JDM stuff in the UK, that's for sure. There are a few WiLL VIs that have been imported, and there's a few other WiLL models as well, which sold in slightly better numbers, but aren't quite so curious. They're curious in their own way, so they're worth checking out as well. If you want something that's as boring as a Toyota under the skin, i.e. works, but a little bit different, so it's going to stand out in the car park. And oh, these very much do that. Oh, I would just like to add, don't blame Nigel for the graphics. That wasn't his doing, that was the previous owner. Nigel plans to get rid of the silly black stripes and the pinstriping. Second point, there is no rear wiper. But with a breeze back window, there shouldn't need to be. It should stay dry in all conditions. But unfortunately, I'm afraid it's beautiful today, so I can't test that. Well, there we go. That was the slightly bizarre Toyota WiLL VI. Yeah, you look at it and you think it's just going to be insane, and it isn't. I've made the point. It's just quite ordinary to drive, but yeah, I quite like it. I think that is definitely quirk-tastic. So I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video, perhaps here in beautiful New Zealand. Farewell.